Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/am I the asshole, where OP ruined a cheater's relationship with her mother. Let's begin. Did my girlfriend fool around with my friend's wife? Posted by Reddit user My First Burner.
TLDR. After a wild party, I discovered my girlfriend was in a closed bedroom with my friend's wife. She denied anything happened. Backstory. Many years ago, we were in our mid-20s, I discovered my live-in girlfriend of 7 years was involved in an 18-month physical and emotional affair. We parted ways and then reconciled after only a few months. During the break, my girlfriend moved in with an older female friend who was definitely bi and seemed quite kinky. She had previously proposed a foursome with us and her boyfriend. The incident. My 27th birthday occurred during our break and I decided to have an all-out party at my house, live band, bartender, keg of beer, drugs of all kinds. Police came twice for noise complaints. You get the picture. My girlfriend and I were talking about reconciliation at the time and she attended the party. The next morning I woke up quite hungover and didn't see my girlfriend anywhere, so I thought she had left. There were a few partiers still there, mostly asleep or passed out in the living room. One of the bedroom doors was closed, which was not surprising. I figured a couple had wanted some privacy, so I was unconcerned. I started rattling around in the kitchen cleaning up and making coffee, deliberately being a bit loud as to wake up the riffraff and get them moving. Not too long after, the bedroom door opens and out comes my girlfriend and a friend's wife, Jeannie. More about Jeannie later. After everyone left, I asked my girlfriend what was going on. I thought maybe they were doing coke and didn't want to share, or maybe just smoking cigarettes. My girlfriend was a closet smoker and knew I hated it. She said they were just talking, which I called bullshit on. I asked flat out if they were fooling around. She looked surprised at the question and then laughingly denied it. She insisted they were just talking, but something seemed off. I never found out the truth, but I often wonder and even fantasize about what might have happened. About Jeannie. First of all, I had a huge crush on her, which was probably obvious. Physically, she was my perfect type. Think Alexandra Daddario with long curly hair. Her personality was unassuming and friendly, like she didn't know or care that she was so beautiful. The old adage of lighting up a room definitely applied to her. Sadly, Jeannie and my friend Nick divorced a few years later and she moved away, never to be heard from again.
OP, you two are not reconciled as of yet, but discussing the possibility of it, so technically it's not cheating. But I do have a question. What is the point of your post exactly? It seems like that you wanted your girlfriend and Jenny to have sex, which you admit to fantasizing about. Another question is, why the hell are you associating yourself with peoples that do drugs? Why the hell are you surrounding yourself with these degenerate people? Why the hell are you living this degenerate life? Do you want to set yourself up to failure? Listen, my friend, you have much bigger problems to tackle. Go to therapy and go to rehab. Get your shit together and stop talking to these junkies. And now for today's second story. I cheated on my boyfriend with a white guy and now it's all I can think about. Posted by Reddit user Peach Wow.
I cheated on my boyfriend of 5 years last week. I needed to get this off my chest because it's been eating away at me. Do I have any regrets? No, it was the best sex I've had in ages, but I still feel the guilt. Just as some context, I grew up in a hyper-religious Asian household. The typical strict Chinese immigrant parents. I was a virgin when I entered college. I met my boyfriend on the first day of class. We hit it off right there. We had similar family backgrounds, and he was just a nice guy overall. Respectful, but boring. We started dating 3 months later and have been together ever since. I would say that I came to discover that I'm a very sex-driven person. I need my orgasms. I need sex. Unfortunately, my boyfriend isn't that kind of guy. Although he refuses to admit it, he seems quite submissive in the bedroom. He knows that I like men who are more in control and dominant, so as much as he tries to fill that role, it comes off as forced and ingenuine. TLDR, our sex life has taken a huge hit year after year. For me, it's something that I need regularly. For him, it's something he just does because it's been a while. I put up with this for years because he's a great guy outside of the bedroom. I don't even look at other men. I've had so many people flirt with me in public, but I don't ever pay them any attention. It was my birthday 3 weeks ago and I woke up horny as fuck. I don't live with my boyfriend, so I drove over to his place. I got there expecting that we'd fuck. It was my birthday, so I didn't think he'd make a fuss about doing it too often. Luckily, he seemed to be in the mood, so we got naked and started messing around. I'm not sure what possessed me that day, but I was feeling adventurous. For some reason, I thought that he might play along as well since it was my special day. I basically wanted him to fuck my throat. He doesn't have a big dick, but I just wanted him to be rough with me for once. I laid on my back and positioned myself so that he could just let loose and fuck my throat, but he refused. I was shocked because his reasoning was that he didn't want to hurt me. This is honestly the last straw. I didn't even bother faking an orgasm that day. This is where I started spiraling. The next few days were pretty dark. I was frustrated and disappointed in myself for putting up with shitty sex for so many years. But at the same time, I felt trapped because I already devoted so much time to this man. It's not like I was going to break up with him just because he can't give me what I want in the bedroom. All throughout these years, I've had men flirt with me almost on the daily. I was at hot yoga last weekend and there was a new guy in class. Well, he probably was a student there for a while, but I never noticed him. Like I said, I never gave other men any attention. He was this tall, fit and muscular, white guy who was objectively hot. I was eye-fucking him the whole class and he noticed. After class, we bumped into each other in the parking lot, so he started up a conversation with me. I really don't know how to explain myself from here. I had a chance to turn him down, I had a chance to say no, but he was just so fucking hot. I knew that my boyfriend would never find out if I did anything with this guy standing in front of me. You probably think that I went to his place right at that point and fucked him. I didn't. I got into his car and sucked him off in the parking lot. He probably thought I was some kinky nympho because I kept licking his abs in between choking on his cock. It's a bit ridiculous to say this, but I felt more thoroughly fucked and used from that one blowjob than full-on penetration from my pathetic boyfriend. That whole session couldn't have been more than 30 minutes, but it fucking changed me. I had never understood why so many of my Asian friends were getting with white men. I understood then. 2 days later, I went over to that same guy's house. We did stuff that I wasn't quite comfortable with, but it was so fucking fun. He doesn't bat an eye when I offer my throat for him to fuck. Is it crazy to say that it feels like he expects me to offer that for him? It's so freaking crazy how different men can be. So here's the part that has been eating away at me. Initially, I thought I could be fine with giving this guy head and be done with it. That wouldn't be fully cheating, but then I went over to his house and his cock was fully in my vagina. I feel like this whole thing has poisoned my brain because I can't stop thinking about cheating on my boyfriend. All I can think about is big white cock and I need more. I'm so fucked.
Ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely believe that this post is fake and it's just a creative fantasy story by a fat white male with an Asian girl fetish. But let's pretend that this post is actually real. OP, if you really think that your boyfriend is so pathetic, then do this guy a favor and leave him. And now for today's final story. My wife cheated, so I let someone close to her know. Am I the asshole? Posted by Reddit user Square Society.
For a little context, I've been with my wife 13 years. She doesn't have a history of cheating. We have 2 kids together. Our relationship hasn't been great for a while. It seems like we are always trying to make it work. I'm going to try and be as unbiased with the telling of the story as I can be, a difficult thing to do, but I'll try. It's going to be a bit long as I tend to give a lot of details. So we just bought a new house together a little over a week ago and hired a contractor to build a small half wall around a set of stairs that leads to the basement. My wife had set up an ad looking for a contractor, so she was the one talking to him about times and whatnot. Last Saturday, she told me the contractor would be there around 11 a.m. My youngest daughter had dance class, about a 25-minute drive away at 9:10 a.m. that morning. My wife asked me if I'd mind taking the other kid for a drive too, as with all the stress of moving, she just needed to relax, which is understandable. She's the one who's done most of the planning. I know she's been stressed, so I say sure. I got back close to 11 a.m. and the contractor is there and he just started what he was there to do that day. He left a while later. The following day, my wife starts talking about the contractor's background and mentioned he had past criminal history. She then tells me he was inappropriately messaging her and then admits she wasn't appropriate either. I asked if she had the messages and they had been deleted already. She said the inappropriateness didn't last long and that she was really sorry, but she had stopped a while ago. Obviously, I was upset about this, but I kept it together and told her I was going for a drive to clear my head and pick up something I needed. About 5 minutes after I left, my mind went back to the previous day and remembered that my wife had asked me if I could turn the water on so she could freshen up. Water to the house was shut off due to a slow leak, and that the contractor was there with her alone before I got there that day, and that she made sure both kids were out of the house. I turned around as something just felt off. I questioned her and she eventually spit out that she had kissed, and that was all. Then after more prying, she admitted to oral. I was furious. I threw my cup of coffee on the ground, screamed a few expletives at her, and stormed out. I was crushed and furious. Now here is the part where I could be an asshole. My wife's parents' opinion of her has always been very important to her. I'm not going to pretend I had good motives here. I wanted to hurt her like she hurt me, so I texted her mother and told her exactly what she did with the contractor, and told my wife that her deceased father would be thoroughly ashamed of her. She has struggled with his passing. It's been almost 5 years and it's still a struggle for her. I also sent my wife a screenshot of what I said to her mother. I realize it sounds childish that I told her mom on her more or less, but her mother's opinion of her means so much to her. She eventually got me back to the house that night. She had told me the dog got out and was missing, but when I pulled in she told me that she had just come back, so I left again. She seemed to be having a mental health crisis, so I texted her mother and told her she needed to come down to stay with her daughter, but I would go back until she got there. When I got there, my wife was gone already, likely only a minute or two. My 2 kids were asleep inside, so I obviously went in as I couldn't leave them alone, and again informed her mother of the change. After some texting, my wife pulled in and asked me to come out and talk to her. I insisted I was too pissed to have a calm conversation and I wasn't going to. She said fine and told me to sleep in the house and she would sleep in the van. She convinced me to let her and to grab something, so I did. She wouldn't leave. I tried to leave. She eventually convinced me to sleep in the bedroom and she would sleep on the couch. I agreed. She made her way to the bedroom anyway. Eventually, we decided we wouldn't do anything too rash. I made it clear that I might still leave her, yet kids and a new house purchase makes leaving difficult. She has admitted that what she did was terrible and unforgivable and did seem remorseful. Over the last few days, she has been trying to get me to tell her mother that what I said wasn't true. I didn't tell anyone else, complaining that it has ruined her relationship with her mom, that she is so ashamed and can't even look at her. She did admit she cheated and kissed the contractor, but that is all she admitted to her mom. For the first couple days I was firm and not a chance in hell would I do that. I eventually decided that I don't want to permanently damage her relationship with her mother and told her that there was a miscommunication, and I jumped to conclusions.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
Things had been going okay, a few blowouts here and there, but today my wife texted me and said that while she knows what she did was the worst thing ever, but she doesn't know if she can forgive me for telling her mother what she did and ruining their relationship. Honestly, I saw red at that point. Am I overreacting here? I feel like she's trying to tell me that what I did was worse and unforgivable. Am I the asshole? Clarity edit. This was the contractor's 3rd time at our house, and my wife had been chatting and flirting with him over the course of the week. He built a wall with drywall, so as most would probably realize, you can't do all the mudding in one go.
I don't think you're an asshole at all, OP, but I do think that you're a fucking idiot to give in to this host's demands. Now she knows that she has the power in this relationship and will use it to destroy you. She has already begun, my friend. So why don't you fire back and expose her affair to everyone that the 2 of you know and start the divorce process? It's not too late, OP. You can still grow a spine. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.